Okay guys, so this is my predictions for UFC 165. I'm not going to make this a long video. So let's go ahead and first start off with Pat Healy versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Both of these guys are excellent fighters. Khabib is just one of those up-and-coming fighters that's doing really well in UFC right now. And then we have Pat Healy, who's been really impressive, especially with his last fight against Jim Miller. I just think that this fight is going to be one of those fights that's going to test Khabib, his fighting skill. And I think that step he's going to take is going to be a little bit too much for him. And I think that Pat Healy is going to pretty much win this one. I would say a decision. He's going to win this one by a decision. I just think it's going to be too much for him. Pat Healy's going to be able to control the fight and take it where he wants to go. So I have Pat Healy win this one by decision. Then we have Kosta Philippou versus Francis Carmont. Kosta Philippou, solid fighter. Carmont, not so much. Philippou, as you know, he fought Tim Bosch and he fought someone else. Who was it? Court McGee. And he's done really he's shown, you know, a lot of skill with those guys. Carmont, not so much. He's won because he's undefeated in the UFC, but against those guys who are lower tier, he just really hasn't shown that much promise. I think going against Philippou, he's going to have a lot of trouble, and I can just see Philippou coming out on this one with a TKO, I would say in the second round. So Carmont's not going to fare too well in this fight against Philippou. Then we have Brendan Schwab versus Matt Mitrione. Matt Mitrione, as we know, he has knockout power. He didn't fare too well in his last fight. Both of these guys are kind of going on a downward slope here. Brendan Schwab, the same thing. I just see in this fight with Brendan Schwab having a subject chin, I think that kind of even things out between both of these guys. But with that being said, I still think Brendan Schwab is going to come out because he's the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's better on the ground. I think he just got his brown belt. His stand-up game, he does have power. I think Matt Mitrione has more power than Brendan Schwab, but I think this one is going to be mostly a ground fight with Brendan Schwab doing what he needs to do to pull out a decision. So Brendan Schwab wins this one by decision. Then we have Burrell versus Eddie Wineland. Well, hopefully this is the last time that we see the interim bantamweight title being ended. With how long has Dominic Cruz been out? I believe it's like 2 years. This is insane. 2 years Dominic Cruz has been out. Hopefully this is the last time. If not, they should just make him champion. Like, if he can't, Burrell wins this fight and is still the interim bantamweight champion, they should just make him the champion if Cruz can't fight him his next fight. Just plain and simple as that. But that's another subject. But with the fight with Eddie Wineland, I think Eddie Wineland is an excellent fighter. Taking too much of a bite on this one when it comes to skill level and going up in that next level. Burrell is not only a great next step fighter, but he's the #1 fighter other than Dominic Cruz. But really, even he's #1. Right now he's #1. I don't see Eddie Wineland. He has a very hard time going against top 5 guys. He has trouble against those top tier guys, and I think this will be no different. I think that Burrell will end up being able to use his speed to chop Eddie down and to pretty much do what he wants, and he's going to get him onto the ground and then he's going to submit him. So that's the fight that I see happening with this one. I think this is going to happen around the second round. So submission by Burrell, second round. So then we have Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Well, I really didn't like this fight from the very beginning, and the reason why I didn't like it from the beginning was because I didn't think Alexander was a great enough challenge for Jon Jones. I thought that on paper it just wasn't a good challenge for him. Alexander has had trouble himself going against guys that Jon Jones would easily beat, and I know that people will say styles makes fights and can't really go down the pyramid like that and match up guys. Just physically wise, I guess when you look at like the tell of the tape type of thing, physically these guys match up, with each other. But as far as skill wise and experience, Jon Jones to me is going to crush Alexander. I think that does Alexander have a chance? Yes, but this is really Jon Jones' fight to lose. I know these guys, when you watch the UFC promos, you see them trying to boost it up, saying, oh, he's got a reach of this, and who can match up with Jon Jones? Yeah, once again, physically, these guys sound like a great match, but I just think that skill-wise, it's just not a close enough matchup to even put a blip on the radar, so to say. So I have Jon Jones winning this one. I say second round by TKO. I think he's just going to just run through Alexander and basically do what he wants to win this fight. So Jon Jones wins this one by TKO, second round. Thanks, guys. Peace.